Tonight's overview is, what's your story? We all have one. What's your story? The focus is, have you shared before and had an experience that's been transformative, brought you closer to a person, a place, or a thing? I want to hear from you. So Harvey, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your story.
All right. Hey, I'm Harvey Slater, and I am a nutrition coach and a chef and a food blogger, and I'm also an Airbnb host. In terms of sharing the way we're talking about it now, as it's turned into this whole new thing in our economy, it's been pretty amazing. Actually, I've always been the kind of person that liked to do things pretty unconventionally. I'm always looking for alternative ways to exist, and in a city like Los Angeles, that can sometimes be difficult, and sometimes it can be really easy. I've always liked the practical, what makes sense kind of way of getting things done. So when I first discovered Airbnb, actually, it was kind of funny because although we had actually shared our home with people just for friends, during the recession, we helped a few friends who needed to stay here because they were in some kind of a transition, either on their way into town, on their way out of town. And that's kind of when we started to realize we actually really liked sharing our home with people. And I'll kind of sidestep a little bit and just explain my philosophy about ownership and stuff. I don't believe we really own anything. I believe that it's just because of the way things are structured in our society that if you want to be the steward of some property, you have to own it. Okay, so I'm basically just the steward of this house. That's how I look at it. So anyway, long story short, we helped a few friends out. Then we thought, well, this is kind of cool. So then we had people from Craigslist staying with us for like a month at a time. And someone told me about Airbnb. And to be honest with you, at first, I couldn't fathom the idea of like letting someone who I'd never met before in my house. It just seemed really strange to me. And it took a couple of guests to kind of get over that and then realize what was going on. But as soon as we had our first guest, it was just like, it was like a match made in heaven. So we've hosted over 300 guests, I think. I kind of stopped counting. And being a host has enabled me to really let go of any part of my life and career that doesn't really hold true to that philosophy that I like to live by. So I was able to let go of my catering business, which I loved catering, but a lot of what I was hanging on to was my business career that I needed because I needed to hang on to it. And it's coming from a place of survival, really. And now I'm able to do, and now my new work is all completely about sharing. In fact, I attract nutrition clients basically just by giving away and sharing information and helping people. So I think I just think in general as a great global economy thing, I think we're just scratching the surface, really. And I'm just glad that we're here to enjoy it now, assuming that someday, it's going to turn into it's just going to get spoiled. That's what I'm afraid of. It's going to get into the wrong hands, and it's, Righteous, belonging, and appropriate. I mean, that's just what popped up. Sorry.
Righteous, belonging.
And I don't mean the church going righteous either. I mean like just kind of just in the right place.
Thank you. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about you and how sharing has affected you.
When I heard the question earlier, it had me kind of, going through my experience to think about where the most potent experience of that has transpired in my life. And it actually started between a member of my community when I used to live in Boulder, Colorado. A member of my community met a member of a community from Portland, Oregon, and they fell in love. And they realized that both people's communities were really rich in diversity and wisdom and really about community itself. And the idea was, wow, we need to get our two communities together and share all this yumminess so that we can get to know each other. And so this gathering between this kind of Portland community and this older Denver community happened. And it was what was called tribal convergence. It was the uniting of the tribes. Enriching experience, what happened was everybody in attendance said, well, I know really incredible people that have really incredible wisdom to share from other communities all over the place. So let's bring them together and let's share those insights. And what happened was it started to create a whole movement of people sharing their community experiences and insights that has spawned a whole range of projects and initiatives and community resource sharing that's happened through that one falling in love experience between these two people, and have been on that journey and watching how this sharing of one another's passions literally creates culture. It creates entire movements of culture and inspiration, and the most powerful experience of what sharing one another's passions, resources has shown is literally an emerging culture, which is kind of what I heard from Harvey just in his experience on the Airbnb sharing. It's like, wow, there's this whole emerging culture that's happened. Joy, inspired, and activated. Like really purpose, like feeling like, oh wow, my whole orientation toward why I'm really here has a deeper fulfillment than a transactional type of experience. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much.
My story is alive right now because Stephen and I are in a shared office, and there are amazing beings fulfilling their dreams, and they're using this hub in Venice. And so if one of them is world, this beautiful gentleman has been so gracious to open up this incredible space. And so really amazing projects are being grounded here on the seaside of Venice, and we're using the same sanctuary, right? So sharing is professionally savvy, right? You get a lot done. And my personal story goes all the way back to an amazing woman out of Texas by the name of Genevieve Vaughn. And I'm a Kundalini yoga teacher and an energy medicine practitioner. So I went to one of her centers in Nevada, and she wrote this incredible book called For Giving. She's the founder of the gift economy here in the United States. She's friends with Maria Gimbutas. And so,
thank you.
So through this amazing woman, Maria Gimbutas, who's also friends with Rian Eisler, I found out about the compassion economy and also Ubuntu in it.
Sharing is to connect you to the divine, to God, to the light, to whatever you want to call it. That's the ultimate level of sharing. In the moment that I'm helping somebody because I have something better, then the ego can catch up. So because I'm in public speaking, and that's what I do every day, and when I coach people, So basically, I share knowledge, I share advice, but of course, the opponent, the negative force around me, that's the ego that can get involved. So the emotions that involve in sharing is, how can I act like the divine? How can I act like that? So it brings me a certain happiness, but not the personal happiness. It's more to see another individual that I meet reach a different level. So it's a certain fulfillment, but because I'm involved with that for many, many years, I'm be careful that that fulfillment will not fulfill my ego. It will fulfill a level that I can share, but without attachment to my own little ego. So there is little fear involved, but not a negative fear, a fear of not allowing the ego to be there. The second emotions that involve is passion. I love to do everything that I do is with passion. I love passion. Whatever I eat with passion, as you can see, and whatever I share with passion. So I love to cook, I love to eat, I love to do everything with has to be with passion. And the third thing is basically joy, which means I love to do it with the emotions of joy. If I don't have the joy involved and the passion and the happiness and the heart involved in everything, I believe that that type of sharing can lead to the ego. And again, I'm sorry that I'm repeating the fear part and the ego part, but it's not because it's negative, it's because we are human, we're not angels. That's what I believe, and we have to be careful where the ego is leading us while we share, because a sharing person, to my opinion, can develop more ego than the person who never share in their life. So.
To quote Iman from Sacred Commerce right now, because it's a very specific language that you use, was passion and joy. And so Iman will say, so a little bit of passion and a little bit of joy equals purpose.
Wow,
right?
Very nice, very nice.
What does this all mean?
Right?
Why is this vision of like healing and sharing important? Well, I believe that our future holds a really big shift, and it's happening right now in our economic system. And I think that we, sharers, are bringing a new light to what trade industry looks like, especially when we're giving from the heart, and we're in a heart business. And so that type of understanding is shifting the way that the economy is moving, and it's moving in such a way that it's so fast and so forward, people can't grasp it. There's no gravitation to what love is, right? Because love is everything. You know, love is the divine order. It's ineffable. You can't explain it. You don't have it's really an experience, right? So I love, I'm sorry that I keep on mentioning Airbnb, but, you know, I've learned so much through Airbnb. I literally heard Brian say these words of, you know, we didn't know what kind of business we were in the beginning. We didn't want to say we were real estate. We didn't want to say that we were rentals. So they said, we're going with the sales of experience. So experiences do what? They generally create more experiences, right? They affect human nature. And so the Sharing Heals project is about us having an engagement with one another, whether it's sharing your home or sharing your story, being an educator, being a leader. There's something that's happening that, all right, hang on to your seats, you guys ready? Drum roll. Is marketable and monetizable in our future. I just want to throw this question out there just to kind of roll over to not next week, but the following week. This is a bi-weekly call. What about this question? Can we monetize love?